I don't like writing poems about boys or girls or anyone really other than myself. Call it conceited, but out of anyone on this planet, I know for a fact that the only person who cannot leave me is me. If I can bend myself to fit a narrative, twist myself into a heroic role, or at least that of a protagonist, maybe I could see myself not as myself, but as a complex character in a lesser-known epic poem. Maybe I could learn to cheer for myself as I do with any other underdog. I do not like this character very much yet. I struggle to write capital I's when I write about them because I'm not quite sure if I am worth the honorific. Sometimes the words come out as shaky or misspelled, too fast or too slow, but I know that I have to keep writing them or they will die with me. I cannot let myself die. I refuse to let myself die, at least not until I hit my redemption arc. I need to keep writing these stories until I am sure that the mark I will leave on this planet will be a positive one, no matter how small that mark may be. I will keep on creating, whether it be through traditional art, songs, poems, because these mediums can paint vast universes, previously undiscovered or unthought of. These can breathe new life into old ideas, inspire new solutions to old problems, and maybe then I can leave this world a little more beautiful than it was when I found it. I don't like writing poems about boys or girls or anyone really. Poems just make me more attached to the idea of the person rather than the actual person, more vulnerable, more likely to exaggerate my place in their lives just to give my lines their hooks. But so many poems out there are about the instinctive need for someone to connect with. Hands in hair, shared beds and blankets, long kisses on longer nights, all parts of an even longer future shared with another. Or worse, just longed for. And God, do I long for these things. I swoon over the domestic, I yearn for the challenges and the peace that comes with overcoming them. I want and I need, but those two things blur together into a chaotic mess of fear and defenselessness. Because all I've ever known is to not burden those I care for, and that wants and needs are weaknesses if I cannot fulfill them myself. But I need to remember that in any epic poem, the supporting characters are just as important to the plot as the hero. I cannot do everything alone, no matter how much that scares me. I know that this hopeless sense of independence is nothing more than a defense mechanism, but it is so deeply ingrained in me that I'm scared to burden the people I care for the most. Humans are social creatures, and if there's anything the old poems have taught us, it's that yearning for another is in our human nature. If not for this instinctive need for an emotional bond, familial, platonic, romantic, humans would simply lack humanity. Humanity and love go hand in hand just as love and poetry do, which is probably what makes poetry so undeniably human. I don't like writing poems about boys or girls or anyone really, but by God, you are so easy to write about. It is like your name invokes the muses Hesiod spoke of, fanning my soft words into roaring flames, magical, captivating, dangerous, and cliché. You inspire not just my prose, but my thoughts, my words, my actions, and my whole being. You inspire me to be so much more than I actually am, and in many ways that terrifies me, because the thought of losing that driving force feels like the impending doom I get before a panic attack. I want the kind of love you find in poetry books. I want the cliches, the future, the sense of wholeness, just as much as I want the bitter parts hidden between each line. I long for the kind of love where the words are loud and powerful, but still as delicate as the flowers pressed between the pages. I need the kind of love where I can learn to love not just you, but myself. I want to feel myself blend into someone until looks become languages, until vulnerability becomes tranquility, until two becomes one. I yearn for the hands in my hair, the shared beds, the long nights, the longer future. For a love that's a chaotic mess of healing and redemption. A love that's just so undeniably human that it's poetry in of itself. A love that makes someone else's world just a little more beautiful than it was when I found it. But this is just a poem about a boy or a girl or anyone, really. All purple prose and lonesome longing and silly cliches and hopelessly human emotions poured over pages like blood or spilled coffee. Poems paint truth and her well in ways that are otherwise undefinable. Perhaps that's why poems seem to be so eternal and undeniably human.